Call now, 800-214-8271.
Jeannie got a gun. Jeannie got a gun.
Welcome back to The Five. I've decided to have guns in the house. Those were the simple words of Iowa Congressman Leonard Boswell after fending off an armed intruder in his house. His wife, daughter, and grandson were about to hit the sack late Saturday when the thug broke in, attacking his daughter. The wily 77-year-old tried to stop him, but it was Boswell's grandson's loaded shotgun that caused the punk to flee in the opposite direction. Yep, if there's one thing you can learn from a shotgun, you never run at one. Now, publicizing tales like these do nothing but good, for they remind the common thug of a key life or death question. What house would you rob if you could? One in which the owner is armed or not? And it poses a question to everyone else. If you're the victim, would you rather be armed or not? Me, I don't want to depend on the kindness of strangers. I prefer to depend on the accuracy of my shot. Of course, the biggest gun control advocates will disagree, but they all work in well-protected media networks surrounded by well-trained and well-armed security. You don't. Guns are a conservative, libertarian way of privatizing safety. It's also the best way to keep good people free and bad people scared. Speaking of bad people, Kimberly, should all women be armed since basically they're at a disadvantage with male attackers? I bet you're armed.
Right now?
Yes.
Yes. I absolutely believe it. I mean, for me, I've, gone to the gun ranges. I've shot with the guys from the SWAT team, as a prosecutor, handled a lot of gun cases, and I see what happens. And I'm telling you, it's big difference in the cases where you see somebody was armed in a house, was able to protect themselves. That's why I like this story here. I don't see any problem whatsoever with people being able to have guns in their home or people being able to carry concealed, as long as they have gun education, responsibility. They go and educate themselves. And they know how to properly use a weapon.
There's no.
It's one of our rights.
They have the right to have a gun to protect themselves in their house, and they should have that right. But in the last 10 years, over 1,600 children have died in homes where guns were not protected in their own homes. There weren't 1,600 burglars killed in the last 10 years. The idea that somehow this is a good idea, and when children are dying, and all I can say is if the NRA has nothing else to do, go to some of the funerals.
Nobody wants children to die. They don't want them to die by guns. They don't want to die by car accidents. Nobody wants them to die. It's kind of a cheap way to
throw people who don't lock their guns up in jail.
Maybe I don't know about that. All I'm trying to say is there's more evidence of people preventing robberies when they don't die. Almost all prevented robberies, there's no death involved.
I just pointed out to you there's 1,500 dead children.
I know, but you don't know how many lives are saved. That's my point.
Gosh, Bob, how many people? It's awful, but how many kids die in a car, as Greg points out? So should we ban cars too, Bob? Because my child may be in a car when an accident happens.
If you could bring some figures that show me that there were 1,500 burglars.
They claim that, according to John Lott, there are about 2.3 million incidences when guns are used in self-defense successfully. That's a lot. John Lott is a gun advocate, and I will tell you that.
Yeah, I know he is.
Well, you don't like guns. He likes guns.
No, I don't have a problem with guns. I'm just saying, if you have them in your house, you ought to lock them up so your kids can't get them.
No one is arguing with that.
Then what you were arguing with was, I said if they don't do that, they should be arrested and thrown in jail for a minimum of a year to have their guns taken away from them, and then they'll learn a lesson. Children won't die.
The people that own guns are generally know what they're doing, and it's sad when there's a tragedy, but you can't paint all of them as reckless.
I'm not painting all
of them.
You are.
You bring up these
safety, gun education, knowing how